Hello, and welcome to the final Season 11 Prosperity season, and what a prosperity it is. Tentative patch notes read. This is my first reaction to the notes since I was away this weekend. I was celebrating my mom's birthday, seeing some friends, and yeah, congrats to her. Love her a lot. But we are here to read the patch notes. I was spoiled on a few minor notes so far, but everything else I have no idea what is going on, and I'm very excited. I heard some friends say that the changes look really good, so I hope this is the case. With that said, let's dive into these, and I'm gonna read everything, gonna comment as we go, kind of give thoughts, try to understand how things are going to be affected. And I think over the next 7 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 day to explore each character. So the next couple of videos are just going to cover characters, the changes that they got, changes to specific builds, things that I think are going to be affected, things that are going to be like very important, builds that are going to rise up or maybe go a bit lower down, you know, the power levels. And that's what we're going to do over the next few days. But today we're going over the notes. So let's stop delaying this as I'm looking for something to snack on. Okay, I found something, so let's get it going. So first of all, shared stash enabled, shared stash in single player. Note this and the currency tab are not compatible with Pluggy. If you still want to use Pluggy, you can run the game with the Pluggy command line argument, which will disable these features. Okay, so cool and amazing. Added personal and shared gold functionality, so you'll have your personal gold now and your shared gold. We've seen these changes. I think they set the 5 million for you, and is it 5 million for shared as well? Added personal shared gold, updated personal stash gold capped to 5 million, updated the player gold capped to 5 million. This is not based on levels. There is no level based 5 million thing. Updated the shared gold stash cap to 10 million. Oh, okay. So you can have 5 million on your player, you can have 5 million in your stash, and you can have 10 million in your shared stash. So even if you have only one character, this is a total of 20 million, as long as you don't die and lose all that player gold, I guess. But already a huge bump to gold, like finding players, and for people who just want to buy gold in like you know, a concentrated way. This is pretty awesome. I think that's pretty cool. Added hover descriptions to stash tabs. This is for people who just like to organize stuff, and I mean, I think that's most of us in Diablo 2. Added stash tab hotkeys, so you can have like hotkeys for your tabs, which is great. Added a currency stash tab. This is the formidable currency tab. This is how it looks like. Looks amazing. You have like your gems, your infusions, your runes, boss materials, map materials, and in the middle here all sorts of other cool stuff, like the demonic cube that they added a new material drop. The demonic cube can be cubed with a set or unique to re-roll the stats, cannot be cubed with slammed items, right? Cannot be used on corrupted or mirrored items. Okay, I think that I don't think you can mirror uniques, so that's interesting that they also added that. So you can't mirror uniques, so you shouldn't be able to re-roll that anyway. So you shouldn't be able to use. Yeah, okay, that's all a strange line. Maybe this is for, maybe in the future unique items will be able to be mirrored. I wonder why they added that. Maintain the sockets of a unique set item as well. Yeah, it maintains the sockets, can be used on any item, unique set rarity. Okay. They added WAS support, added controller support. This is for all of us, the dad gamers who really wanted this, so this is awesome. Added a setting to make allies, abilities, and summoners appear transparent. So this is, you can kind of see all the summons, the fire, like you can barely see it. This is from the perspective of the player who actually uses the skills. This is for all the people complaining about eye cancer, in quotes, builds, like Fire Druid, like Disco Barbarian. So I'm personally, I'm not going to use this, but I know a lot of people mind it, so there you go. Added a new control menu for WASD, added an option setting to show life and mana values above the globes. So this is nice because sometimes these like globes things disappear because I click on them accidentally, and I like it when it does show them. Lucian will now be enabled in single player and non-ladder. Hooray for me and for other single player enjoyers. Added a new single player setting menu of the following: slash player slider that will have that will save between games and game launches. Ooh, this is another quality of life for our single player community, so a little bit of a nicety there. An option to regenerate levels. Levels will be reset with new layout on save and exit. Yep. Change Worldstone shard text to color from purple to red. Ooh, I actually like the purple color, but it's gonna match the corrupted text. Duriel now is a quest completion flag triggered from, ooh, they're taking away Duri bug. So this is gonna be somewhat important. Mostly Sorc players use this, but this is important for everyone. Seems like Duriel bug is now fixed. You cannot farm Duriel anymore on season start. I know a bunch of people actually wanted this bug fixed. I personally didn't mind it, but I mean, it was a bug, so they fixed it. I think that's a good thing in general. Shapeshift forms are now kept in act transitions. This is awesome. Depositing, withdrawing, and dropping gold will now always put the maximum gold amount in by default. Ooh, that is also nice because this is mostly what I would want. You can now withdraw the max amount of gold. Previously, you had to withdraw an exact amount. Oh, okay. This is such a nice quality of life thing. Before, you had to draw the exact amount or it would just not work. Now, if you put the maximum, you just get what you can withdraw. Okay, that's awesome. Monster Decrep, slow reduced from -50 to -30. This is a great change. Decrepify was a nightmare. We got now... Oblivion Knights now have a chance to cast curses instead of always casting curses on an uncursed player. Now cast lower resist, -25% all resistances instead of life tap. So this is going to be very dangerous early on if you run into Oblivion Knights in your playthroughs. It's going to be dangerous in maps as well. Just getting lower resed in maps can be sometimes devastating. So I think people should mind this, definitely like keep an eye out for this, but just having like chance to curse is definitely a bonus. Like this is like a huge change, so I'm pretty happy about this overall. So we got a few bug fixes, fixed several bosses not properly spawning minions, fixed the kill counter and home feature resetting for some players. Ooh, they fixed it. Thank you so much. This meant a lot to me. So some kill counters on map bosses, on Ubers, your death counters. So some of those kind of like didn't work properly and start resetting in season 10. I'm really happy they fixed this. Fixed the Geed map event and the Fawn Gardens, sometimes getting a rare. So interesting they said fixed as a bug fix. I thought this was an intended behavior because of the one unique rule, but I guess it wasn't. Fixed shapeshift from sometimes double casting in town. Yay! No more shapeshift double casting in town. We're happy about that. Fixed an issue with allocated loot, which prematurely deallocated the item before you were able to pick it up. So this was one of the major things I saw people complaining about, allocated loot, where they saw loot that was allocated to them and then they couldn't pick it up, and somebody else picked it up. So this is good. I think allocated loot is an important thing. I really think this is a huge thing they're doing for the game, for pubs, because I think it sorts out a lot of issues. And the fact that they're working on it and improving it is really we should remember it to their benefits. Okay, don't take these kind of things for granted. This is to improve your gaming experience. So I'm happy with this. Loot filter added stat and multi to the add condition thanks to exile. So these are loot filter things, which I don't necessarily understand. Added the ability to add a loot filter notification sound. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. Thanks to I'm the anti-noob, so I know I've been on their stream a bunch of times. They're pretty chill people. You should check them out, guys. So they added the option of adding sound effects. That's really cool. If I was smart enough, I would definitely add sound effects. I think that would be adding to the game experience. I think that's kind of cool. You know, just like a little bit extra dopamine. So it's really nice that they added this option. I might look into this or ask for help from someone to do this in the future. I think that would be cool. Fixed a bug which would prematurely hide items. I think I definitely seen this happen to me before, where I got a notification for an item, then I couldn't find it. So this is kind of nice. Fix a bug which caused the % A level keyword to show the incorrect A level. Okay, so I haven't ran into this thing, but you know, they're fixing stuff. I'm happy with it. PvP added a second readable PvP tome within the PvP areas that further explains stat limits within the PvP arenas. Added the ability to see dueling players' health. Yeah, this is like a nice quality of life for viewers in PvP. PvP modifiers changed for balance. Read the PvP tome to see modifiers, because it's really awesome for PvPers. Personally, I'm not a PvPer, but it is nice to see. For the maps, we got the angelic orbs. I feel like this is going to be a long video. I'm not realizing it. So brace yourself, guys. I hope you got like some tea or something, because I didn't get anything. And yeah, I can tell this is going to be a lot. Angelic orbs. Recipe changed from magic map, perfect skull, and any rune. Plus to magic map, any perfect gem, any rune. Yeah, okay, so it's basically from skull to any gem. Nobody was using angelic orbs because it was a waste of skulls, so now it's going to use gems. I don't know if this is going to still be used, like angelic orbs. Like generally people prefer to just like destroy stuff and upgrade, because gems are so valuable and jewels aren't as valuable for the most part. But maybe this makes it so people use it. Like, I don't know, we will see, I guess. We got Orb of Destruction gold reduced by 33%, so this is a pretty big win for mappers and people who kind of use a lot of destruction orbs. Arcane Orb can now be cubed with a magic map to reroll it. So this is interesting. I know they wanted to buff magic maps, so maybe people run magic maps with Arcane Orbs, trying to run them to like reroll them into solid maps. Orb of Fortification can now be used on unique maps. Okay, so unique maps can be fortified now. That's like a nice little, you know, quality of life change for a few mappers who wanted to run, you know, unique maps, and it was just like taking so long because they didn't have the AoE. Maybe they're not necessarily mapper builds. This definitely happened to me when I wanted to run my my Maulbear in Warlord of Blood. Mini bosses now have 50% chance to drop skillers in Czar's Sanctum. Big buff to Czars. People were, for some reason, not liking Czars in previous seasons. I think it's a really good map, and yeah, this is pretty awesome. We have Outer Void added a new unique map. The Outer Void item code T55 tile set made by so this is like the cool void map that kind of simulates like the tile set from the Rathma boss. The map is 3 random map bosses, each of which we will drop pinnacle boss materials at random. Any of the free materials from Declone, Lucian, and Rathmas is pretty cool. We have the Imperial Palace and new unique map as well. It was made by Alma. No, the mini boss in this map will always drop a large puzzle piece, and the boss will always drop a puzzle box. The map will be disabled initially on closed beta, so we're not going to see it immediately. And we have Halls of Torture. That's the new map made by Gimli. Looks really cool. The boss will be added in an upcoming closed beta patch. And last season we began the new map rotation, so this map will have no resistances, which is really cool. Demon Road and Skovos Stronghold will be given immunity, so this is kind of a note for other players. So these maps will get immunities in the new season. Corrupting a map now has 1% to turn into a unique map. This is awesome. I'm loving this. Magic maps now always roll with 2 affixes, so a little buff to magic maps, it seems like. And you can see now magic maps seem a little bit more solid, so a little bit more useful to run. And you can like re-roll them into like okay maps. If you get like these orbs, maybe it's just like easier maps for cheap. So I think this is like an okay change. Giving like magic maps a purpose is good if they're gonna stay. Like right now, the only purpose magic maps had is to be destroyed and turned into rare maps. This is definitely a good change, even if it's not necessarily the change people asked for. We got monster health prefix and suffixes. Yeah, this is for the magic maps. Disabled area level prefix can still be found via corruption mods. That's very interesting. So they disable. I want. Is this for tier? Is this for rare maps as well, or is this only for magic maps? So this is interesting. I'm very interested in this. If they nerfed rare maps in that sense, that would be very interesting. They cannot get like native +1 area. For people who run a lot of public maps, they will know this is something we're hunting a lot of the time when we're re-rolling. But yeah, this will be interesting. Tier 1 map affixes can no longer spawn on tier 3 maps. That's generally a good thing, so tier 3 maps are more consistent. Horizon now properly has a golden name. This is for the map event. Treasure Fallen now always drops infused orbs, so this is a buff to Treasure Fallen. Now drops Zakram Horadrim orbs more often than arcane orbs. Nobody like arcane angelic orbs and orbs of destruction fallen from the Treasure Fallen, so this is really big buffs, really nice. Now have a higher chance to drop perfect gems instead of flawless. This is also great. I'm loving these changes for Treasure Fallen. He was feeling like a little bit of a bad map event. Can now drop any rune up to Zod. Any rune. So I think this was changed last season from like Mal to Ghoul. I think any rune up to Zod. This is ooh, I wonder how big this is. I actually don't know what the chances will be on these runes, but imagine the dopamine of hitting a Zod rune from your Treasure Fallen. Okay, nobody's gonna skip this event anymore. This is really okay. I'm gonna be Treasure Fallen fan number 1. I'm just gonna wait for it to drop me a Zod rune. Okay, so this is really cool. My jaw dropped there for a moment. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but that was definitely a moment that just happened. Any rune up to a Zod, that's crazy change. I wonder if that's gonna stick. We'll see what's the percentages and all that. Declone. No, sorry, there's Ubers here. Okay, so Uber changes. Disabled Uber materials from having a normal, from dropping a normal and nightmare. So you cannot drop Uber materials in normal and nightmare. So that's interesting. So no more key drops wait, no more Uber materials dropping normal and nightmare. Could you have dropped in normal if I was only nightmare? So that's interesting. I'm interested with that. Oh, maybe they were talking about things like jawbones and the demon thing. Maybe that's what they're talking about. So we got declone, magic resist reduced from 30% to 20%. Magic type builds, that's going to be interesting for. So we're talking things like Holy Bolt being a little bit stronger. We're talking things like Magic Arrow for Amazon being a little bit stronger. We're talking things like Bone Spirit for Necro being a little bit stronger. And I think generally this is a really nice change to Paladin, especially early on for killing a declone, like the early declone kill. Like 10% less magic resist. I think that's really nice for them. Am I missing any specific build that maybe would want to use magic now early on? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I am. I don't think I am. But who knows? We'll find out, I guess. Now has the in-game name Diablo clone. I'm really happy about that one. Always seeing him with the name Diablo was strange. So we'll attempt to teleport to the center of the arena if blocked. Yes. So this is to prevent like some weird declone is in the wrong position when he's shooting his Nova. This for people who boss, they know what this means, and this is a good thing. We got Wrathman Medellin, magic resist reduced from 35% to 25%. So again, magic builds enjoying the changes for this season of bossing. That's pretty cool. Tak hopefully is happy. Whoever doesn't know, Tak made a tier 2 clone with a magic arrow Amazon. It was like, I'm pretty sure he's the only person who's ever done that. That's pretty cool. Fixed phase 1 Medellin and having half the intended lightning resist. Okay, half the intended lightning resist. I did not know that. Conjured Soul, magic resist reduced from 50% to 40%. Okay, so that's also interesting. This will definitely be very good for Paladin. I think early on kills on Paladin. This is what jumps into my head right now, and also probably for early kills on the Necro. We got Uber Tristram. Pandemonium Talisman recipe no longer requires a key. God bless. Boss names now contain Ubers. That's also for me this is important. I like seeing like the right name on the bosses. For Lucian, they added a Lucian tier 0. Okay, interesting. Desecration chances change from 50%. Oh, we finally got confirmation on the percentages. Desecration chances change from 50% to tier 1, 60% tier 2. Which, by the way, I just want to note, people who were with me on the stream kind of know this, but we kept track of all of our kills on tier 2 Lucian, and we had 38% brick rate, I think, total. If I remember correctly, I can pull up the sheet. We did like 800 plus kills. I think it was like 840 or 850 by the end of season 10. Tier 2 Lucian kills, and our percentages on like the brick desecration ratio were about, I think, 61.5% to land the desecrate, and the rest bricked. So this is like pretty close to their actual percentages. This is kind of pretty cool. 50% on tier 1. So what did they change it to? So tier 0 will be 50%, tier 1 will be 55%, and tier 2 will be 60%. So tier 2 stays the same. There's kind of like a middle tier now. I wonder if the difficulty is being shuffled, if tier 2 is still the same difficulty. So we'll, I guess, live and see. But tier 0 will definitely be super nice for new bosses to kind of try out. It being 10% means that for people who really care about the amulet, they're definitely going to send it to the higher ones. But this is definitely a nice change. I've been loving the Lucian boss, letting a lot of new people kind of start entering the boss and try bossing for themselves. Added demonic cube as a rare drop from Lucian. Oh my god, this is such an amazing change. So demonic cube now does have actual way to like focus farm, and you got tier 1 and tier 2 at 1 out of 75 and 1 out of 50 to drop. These are so cool. I'm actually so happy for this one, because I personally really enjoyed the Lucian fight, but I would only do it kind of like for other people, because I'm doing it kind of to get paid. But this is so cool, being able to farm Lucian for demonic cubes and to use this item more. This is so cool. I really like this. We finally got to the class specific changes, so these are going to be important over the next couple of days. We're going to go over them and kind of explore them, see every character. I didn't decide who's going to be my first character yet. I'm thinking Druid, but we'll just see based on the changes. All right, so jab, attack animation speed increased by 15%. This will definitely be interesting and change how the frames like kind of play, especially for bossing in my opinion, but maybe even for mapping. This could be very similar to how Senpai mentioned the Fury Druid. Amazon is very fast naturally, and this attack works very similar to Fury. So we'll see. Maybe you can map with this somewhat efficiently, especially with the new changes to Zeri's Resolve that kind of lets you joust around. We got penetrate, -2 to enemy target defense per base level removed, and they added 1% of physical resistance per 2 base levels. This is a pretty big buff in my opinion, both to physical melee and to ranged. So we'll see how they kind of offset that. I'm pretty sure they will nerf something about like a ranged Fizzbow. We got exploding arrow, that's level 8 to 16 scaling increased from 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So I'm seeing a lot of increases. This all says increased. So yeah, a lot of damage increases for exploding arrow. That's kind of cool, because I like when I was playing a little bit of the fire and exploding arrow, it felt a little bit weak to me. So this is nice to see. Reduced visual density of explosions. Okay, so some visual changes as well. Freezing arrow, projectile hitbox increased from 1 to 2. Lightning bolt, projectile hitbox increased from 2 to 3. Synergies increased from 14 to 15. So a little bit of a buff to lightning bolt. Lightning bolt is a very strong single target, so that's kind of nice to see for them. Plague javelin, projectile hitbox increased. So a lot of increases in the projectile hitbox, making it maybe a little bit easier to play around with. We got Pierce, base Pierce chance reduced. They reduced the base Pierce chance from 30 to 20. Level 1 to 8 plus % Pierce per level reduced. Ooh, wow, that's big nerfs to Pierce. So that's really interesting, kind of making people have to wear more Pierce, like slams or Pierce based items. So this is definitely an interesting change. Slight nerf to bow builds for the Amazon, it seems like. Magic arrow, projectile hitbox size increased also. Strafe, fixed strafe incorrectly dealing 75% weapon damage instead of 100. I didn't know this bug existed, but that's good. If there are bugs, always should fix them. And multi-shot, enhanced damage per level reduced from 10% to 5%. So I wonder if this is to offset the change to penetrate, which will add a lot of damage. I just assumed they would change expos, giving given the minus the physical resistance, but also a nerf to multi-shot. It's been a very popular build in Season 10. I played it as well on my SSF pluggy. I do not think it's as strong as people made it out to be, but they did decide to nerf it. And this is a per level change, so this is pretty big overall. So I would say this is pretty big nerf, and I'm interested to see how people take it. Remember that this game is not nerfing you personally. It doesn't mean to intend you any harm, so we will just see how things play out, and this is just the beta patches, and they're tentative, meaning they can change. So we got Assassin, Fist of Fire, third stage meteor explosion radius increased by 75%. That's a buff to Fist of Fire. That seems pretty cool. Blades of Ice synergies increased from 12 to 13%. That's nice. Second stage area of effect widened and range increased. Knockback chance reduced from 30 to 20%. Okay, so let's knock back more radius. We got Cloak of Shadows, added the cooldown to match its uptime. Okay, yeah, that is fine. This was done to make it more clear that you cannot cast Cloak of Shadows while another instance of Cloak of Shadows is still active. Okay. We got Wake of Fire, mana cost per level reduced by half. Okay. Oh, it seems like all these traps got this treatment, so mapping with these may be a little bit easier. You're going to run out of mana less frequently because you're using half of your mana to cast them now. So that's pretty cool. I actually did feel a lot of mana issues playing with Wake of Fire early on, so that's pretty nice. Even with Insight, it can sometimes not be enough to offset how many traps you're using. We got Cobra Strike. Second charge. Now, that used to be the charge that did a lot of life leech. Now has 90% chance, 90% enhanced damage base bonus. Now gains 30% enhanced damage per level. Okay, so that's interesting. A lot of enhanced damage on the second charge. So that would be pretty good also for bossing as well, because they'll have a lot more damage. Life and mana steal value reduced by 60%. Yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. Both for bossing and for people who used Runewords like Venom that don't have like a lot of enhanced damage. So this would end up being pretty nice for them, so they can leech with that like Venom Runeword. I think that's a pretty good change. I'm liking it. From the little that I know about assassins, let me know what you guys think. Maybe this is a bad change for some reason. We got Shadow Warrior, now displays quantity because you can make more than one. AI rewritten and improved to use abilities more often instead of using normal attacks. That's a good thing. No snapshots to player skill synergies on summon instead of requiring the shadow to cast them in correct order. So this is pretty cool as well. Shadow Master now displays quantity because you can summon more than one. Beasant synergies increased from 12 to 15%. Increased. So the synergies are better. That's a surprise. Oh, but okay. Level 16 to 22 flat scaling. So they're reducing the flat scaling. They're adding a little bit of synergies. I wonder how that's going to end up shuffling, if this is like a buff or a nerf overall. I assume it's a nerf, but this is just an assumption based on the power level of Beasant. But yeah, let me know if this is a buff or a nerf. It looks like a nerf to me, but I haven't calculated it, obviously, so I want to say without knowing. Synergies increased from 10 to 12% for Blade Fury. Okay, I thought Blade Fury was mostly a meme weapon. Now deals full weapon damage instead of half. Maybe it's no longer a meme. Never mind. So Blade Fury, maybe something interesting can happen with this. Let's see, assassin players. Alright, Barbarian. We got Battle Orders, Battle Command, Shout can now be cast in town. Grimward, base enhanced damage increase from 40% to 50%. Wow, that's a big increase. And so just for one level, that's pretty nice. Enhanced damage per level bonus increased from 8 to 15%. Okay, Grimward Stunks going up. This was already a solid skill, but people weren't using it too much. Base attack rating bonus reduced from 130 to 120. That's a small change. And flat attack rating per level bonus reduced from 20 to 10. So quite a big nerf to the attack rating overall. But I think this is still fine because like the damage increase here is absolutely massive, and the attack rating was not the main reason people using it from what I know. So overall this seems like a big buff to Grimward. We got Frenzy duration, per heart point increase from 1 second to 2 seconds. This is literally what I was asking for. Exactly 2 seconds. That's a perfect perfect line to walk. So now if you put 20 points into Frenzy, you'll have a very nice, long, fun Frenzy to play with. So I'm really happy for the Barb players. Now you only have to put like a certain amount of points for it to actually last like a nice amount of time. So this is pretty cool. Base enhanced damage bonus increased. So the base... Oh wait, base damage increased for Frenzy. That's interesting. 20% enhanced damage per level increased to 25. So a lot of damage increases for Frenzy and for Grimoire. That is very interesting. A lot of extra damage on the Barbarian. We got double swing. Base enhanced damage bonus increased from 25 to 30. 25% enhanced damage per level increased to 30. Ooh, so double swing is like the main skill Barbs use early. In normal, this will make it a lot better early on. In my opinion, just like a lot more consistent. So this is definitely good stuff for early start for Barbarian. I'm liking this. The whole changes to Runewords, Frenzy, like also probably going to affect leveling as well. But they are massive for both bossing and for mapping. So I'm loving this. Runewords is going to be used by a lot more people, hopefully, because it's a really great skill. We down to Druid. I have like one spoiler on this one. So we got Solar Creeper no longer displays quantity, can only have one. Carrion Vine no longer displays quantity, can only have one. Displays health bar. Poison Creeper displays health bar. Okay. Someone's Spirit Wolf, maximum Spirit Wolves. Okay, so you got one more Spirit Wolf. Senpai talked about this. Hit points per level increase from 30% to 35. That's also really nice. Spirit Wolves have a big tendency to die and be annoying, and you have to resummon them. So having like overall like a lot more health is good. Direwolf's melee splash radius increased by 40%. Okay, that's an interesting change for Direwolf. Maybe making them a little bit more useful. Hit points percent per level increased from 40 to 50. So they're going to be a lot more tanky. Okay, and we got Summon Grizzly. Health per level scaling reduced by 50%. So the way they're wording it is like, it sounds very harsh. This might actually be very harsh. But remember, the bears are pretty much almost never dying unless you're fighting any like boss or something. So for mappers, this shouldn't be a big deal. Maximum resistance is also reduced, so the damage that they're taking is also going to go higher. And synergies for damage reduced from 6 to 4%, so the damage is going down by quite a bit. I already saw Cirque was inserting it into his damage calculator. So for people who don't know, you can go into the Druid chat. There is a damage calculator for Grizzlies, and you can use it there. But this is the big line, in my opinion. Cooldown increased from 1 second to 2. So this will be very important during boss fights. In boss fights, sometimes you have to summon bears very fast. The fact that the cooldown is much slower means that sometimes you just can't summon the bears fast enough, and it's gonna be a pretty big hit for the bear kind of like summoner druid action in bossing. This as a bosser has been very strong, and there was a lot of talk about it, and people were saying how insane it is, how much it needs to be nerfed. Definitely there was some people, not gonna mention their names, woogs that made this look like $1 million, and yeah, they did a really good job. And yeah, it seems like they're going to nerf it. I think that's probably okay. All these changes seem very fine to me. And hopefully this doesn't affect mappers too much. I don't think it should affect mappers too much, but we will definitely see. So we got Arctic Blast. Base range increased by 20%. Same range. Okay, so base range increased by 20%. Same range cap. Okay, that's just nicer in early levels. We got Shockwaves, level 1 to 8 scaling increase. So they're just increasing a ton the scaling on Shockwave. Good for all the free Shockwave druids. Season to play it. Now caps at 8 Shockwaves. So really nice changes for Shockwave. This seems pretty good, actually. Shockwave missiles increase size from 1 to 3. So all these seem like really nice changes. And we got Tornado. Damage scaling increased from 20 to 22, 20. Okay, so by 2. Yeah, they're just increasing the damage scaling. So this, when you start maxing into Tornado going to become stronger. It was already a really solid build, so doing even more damage is really cool for Tornado. We got Hurricane. Chill duration increased from 2 seconds to 8 seconds, and on the half freeze duration it's like 4 seconds. So this is pretty good change for Hurricane. I like having like a 1-point wonder in Hurricane sometimes on like Fire Druid, for example, making it kind of just like slowing down some enemies. So I like this change. It's not massive, but it's just like very nice to have. So these are the Druid changes. Very interesting stuff there. Necro, we got Bone Prison and Bone Wall added like the synergies for damage per level. Synergies reduced from 8 to 5. Synergies now also apply. The attacker takes damage stat on Bone Wall. Okay, so synergies will make this also stronger. That's why it's reduced. We got Bone Spirit. Synergies increased from 14 to 15%. So Bone Spirit looking even better to do early declone with the reduced reduced magic resistance. That's pretty cool. You got Dark Pact, Curse Mastery synergies increased. Ooh, Dark Pact stonks are going up. What is this? I just released a guide for Dark Pact, so I'm happy to see this. I think it's a really cool build, really underrated. People do not play it in as much as they should. And we got Curse Mastery synergies upgraded from 15 to 16%. Same for Iron Maiden, so that's already like 40% more magic damage, right? Because these are 40 points you're putting in. And all curse synergies increased from 10 to 12%, which means this is about what we got 2 4. Okay, yeah, this is an insane amount of damage increased for Dark Pact. I wonder if this will make Dark Pact even more viable early on. This is something I'll have to explore in the Necromancer day. But this is really interesting because yeah, Dark Pact deals incredible amounts of damage, so this might mean you won't need as many curses to kill stuff anymore. So you maybe don't need like 3 curses, you can do 2 curses, which will make Obsession Runeword much more viable. We'll explore this on the Necro Day. This is really interesting. Desecrate and the Corpse Explosion now require line of sight to cast. Ooh, that's a solid change. This is a good change. Probably I was kind of abusing this before, but this is a good change. The Crepify now gains an additional 1% to enemy physical resist every 3 levels. Okay, that's a big buff to the Crepify, which was already very strong. I wonder if this is just for Necromancer or also for Monster, the Crepify, because it was noted only here. So that's an interesting thing to test. If it applies to also Monster Decrepify, this is terrible for us. We are so not ready for this, but otherwise this is a big buff to the Decrepify, and that's pretty cool. So we got Thief, base mana cost reduced, base missile count increased, base damage increased as well, and the scaling was also up. So Thief getting a little buff here, which is again very nice for Thief mapping. I thought Thief was very underwhelming. We got Bone Spear also being buffed. So overall changes for Magic Necro are very positive, and would probably boost his like early decloning ability as well. We got Paladin. Sacrifice has been moved. Ooh, okay. Paladin Sacrifice, that's what we all been thinking is going to get nerfed, has been moved from a level 1 skill to level 6 skill. So already touching on the leveling scheme for Paladins. Base radius reduced to 4. Okay. So pretty big reduce in radius. Now gains +1 radius every 5 soft levels. And maximum radius caps at 10. So by level 30, it gains the 10 radius. I believe it was higher before, but you'll still need a lot of skill points, like plus skill points, to get this radius. From what I'm understanding, you need like no sacrifice to be at level 30 to enjoy it properly. It doesn't have to be hard points, which is still like doable maybe in some scenarios. But yeah, this is interesting because they're not using skillers, and even if you get like I'm trying to guess somewhere around 15 to 20 skill points, you'll still need to put like 9 to 15 skill points to get this to like the maximum radius. It's a pretty big hit to sacrifice. I think it's a justified hit personally. I think that's okay. Sacrifice is incredibly powerful, maybe to a ridiculous degree even, and yeah, I mean, it's had its time in the sun and it's time to get hit. Got Fist of Heaven synergies increased from 11 to 12, so that's like a nice little bit buff to Fist of Heavens. Zeal has been moved from a level 6 skill to level 1, swapping with Sacrifice. Holy Shield has been moved to level 24 from 18, so this is swapping with Holy Sword. Level 28 damage scale reduced from 5.5 to 4.4. Okay. Holy Shield. We got Holy Freeze synergies reduced, so they're nerfing Holy Freeze. Synergies increased for Holy Fire, so Holy Fire getting a little bit of a damage bump. Sanctuary also getting a little bit stronger, so that's nice for early Sanctuary enjoyers. We got Holy Sword, been moved to level 24. Vigor plus 1% faster one walk per 2 base points, increased by 1% per base point. Okay, so for people who have like Vigor maxed out, this is gonna feel a lot better for you guys. Holy Bolt synergies increase. So Holy Bolt, another buff to Holy Bolt. So Holy Bolt going to be very strong day one decloner in my opinion with all these changes and buffs. I think that is really nice for early decloning Paladin. You got Holy Light base mana reduced. That's nice. Mana cost per level reduced as well. So this is generally nice for Holy Light. Wasn't really seeing too much use. So that's nice. Synergies increased from 6% to 10%. That's awesome. Might be like a nice way to heal some people, or maybe your merc. Charge. Enhanced damage per bonus per level reduced from 25 to 20, so that's a big nerf to charge. And synergies reduced as well, 20% to 15%. This is the second nerf in a row in seasons for charge, trying to make it like a little bit more fair bosser, because it was a little bit ridiculous. It seems like both Beast Charge and Summon Druid, which were in my opinion probably the top 3 bossers in the previous season, they all got hit. So these are nice changes for bossers in my opinion, and hopefully this springs up new bossers. I feel like I saw a change to Zeal somewhere and I didn't read it. No, it was the change from level 6 to level 1. So Zeal didn't get buffed. Sadly, I was hoping it does get buffed. In Joust level 1, enhanced damage bonus increased from 8 to 40%. So 1 point in Joust makes it a little bit stronger early on. So that's pretty cool for Jousters. It will be nice just to be used early on for movement as well. Yeah, but these are the notes for Paladin. So hopefully Charger doesn't die completely and just gets rebalanced by this. But we will see. I don't think it will die. It was so strong before. I think it will still be a viable bosser. So we got Sorceress synergies increased from 3% to 4%. The Nova getting a little bit of a damage buff. That's nice for the Nova enjoyers. Hydra, changes to Hydra. I'm excited. Fireball, explosion area of effect. Radius increased by 40%. So maybe a little bit of a mapping viability on Hydra, doing a little bit more AoE. Synergies reduced though. So we got less damage, more AoE. So we'll see how this actually plays out. I'm not sure this is enough to help Hydra, but you know, we will just find out how this works out. Charged Bolt synergies increased from 7 to 8%. So Charged Bolt doing a little bit more damage might be interesting. I know some people experimented with Charged Bolt being a mapper. Fire Enchant synergies increased from 18% to 20%. So Enchant Orc, I guess, add ally damage bonus to Tilt Tip. Can now be cast in town. Seems like same change for a Cold Enchant, 2% more for synergies. So Cold Enchant and Fire Enchant being a little bit stronger. There are some strats using these, especially for dungeons, so this is pretty cool to see. Inferno base range a little bit higher, similar to what we saw on Arctic Blast. And Blizzard synergies increased by 2%, so this is pretty nice. Buff to Blizzard, which has a lot of synergies. Radius increased as well, so Blizzard getting a pretty big buff. That is like very interesting. Blizzard is a very nice skill, but it was very slow for mappers. It is used for some bossing, so this is very interesting. I'll be interested to test this for bossing as well. So Blizzard looking very nice here. It maybe can be used now for mapping as well a bit more effectively. Got items, so Larzik puzzle piece and puzzle box drop rate increase. So okay, we're finished with the class changes. Now talking about items, we are at some page out of some pages. Reduce the drop rate of Skeleton Key, Lilith Mirror, Valor Light Song, Horadric Navigator, and the Horadric Almanac in Nightmare Normal. This is yep, that is a fine change that we're dropping very early on. We got crossbows -10 to physical resistance reduced to 5. Ooh, okay, so all of the crossbows going from -10 to -5. I hope everybody got their crossbows last season. This season they're nerfed. It's only to -5, so it means you can get now on Amazon's even higher physical resistance pierce. So I wonder if this is like if from -10 total you're going to -15, but you are losing a lot of enhanced damage on your bow. I wonder how this is all going to play out with multi-shot especially. I guess we'll just find out. But yeah, this is a very interesting change. This does mean that all the shapeshifters that were planning to use a crossbow are no longer going to do it. Losing the physical resistance on them is definitely a big hit to that. And that was like the main reason people were using them. Bone Shield, chance reduced from 2016. Yeah, that's the just general change they did with a lot of shields. So Barbed Shield as well, reduced chances to block. They added attacker takes damage. Ancient Shield, base chance block increased from 16 to 20. Blade Barrier also reduced when you get attacker takes damage. Troll Nest added magic damage reduced by 6 to 8. and reduced chance to block. Okay, so we got a bunch of notes here. Oh, these are for throwable items. This is how many sockets you can get for all these throwable items. Yeah, you can like take a screenshot and look at this in the future. If you have to like a loot filter, that will just kind of show to you how many sockets the item can get. And we got affixes change. Okay, so that's it with the item changes. Now to affixes. Magic and rare druid pelts can now roll up to minus 10% cold pierce as a prefix. That is very interesting. Magic and oh, and they can also do it for fire. So this is official. I'm pretty sure this will make it so rare pelts for druid finally can beat things like Ravenlore. This is a very interesting change because you can get up to 5 skills on the right pelt with minus 10 or minus 10 resistances as well. That could definitely beat a Ravenlore, and you can have another slam on top of that. This is a very interesting change. I really like it. Making rare and crafted pieces stronger and more interesting to play around with is always a good change in my opinion, so I think this is awesome. More rare affixes change will come in upcoming beta patch. Okay, that's cool. Magic weapons and armors now always roll 2 affixes above level I-65. Interesting. Magic jewels and jewelry always rolls 2 affixes above level 85. So it's a big buff to jewels. Magic charms now always roll 2 affixes above level 90. So that means boss charms, including the... Okay, so this is literally something I've been asking for on my stream like a bunch of times. People who've been watching me, they know I really wanted the boss charms, the ones that drop a level 99, to have like 2 affixes. The affixes can be, like secondary affixes can be bad. They could just be like flat elemental damage. That for most people don't matter at all, like if you're not playing Venge or something. But this is pretty huge. This means there are a lot more lifers now, a lot more like EDIAS type of jewels. I'm really liking this change, especially for single player. I'll see what this does to, like, this will really change how the market works for sure, and how people farm different charms and different items. So this is very interesting. I really like this change. Sets updated the art for Infernal, art by Gimli, cute little dagger art. We got BK Deathband, physical damage taken reduced by 4-6, increased to 6-8. Whoa! See, wow, this is a really nice change for the BK set ring. So 8% PDR on 1 ring. This is pretty huge in my opinion. This might fly under the radar. This is already an amazing ring, already been used by me for bossing a bunch of times, but now it gives 8% PDR. That is pretty huge. Talrasha's Guardianship, a little bit more stable MF we got here. Talrasha's Wrapping, a little bit more MF on the free set bonus. So this is like a very common thing people use, so a little bit more MF on it. Nice for a Sorceress. Siverb's Icon, honestly nobody cares. Siverb's Cudgel added 100% damage to undead on the 2 set. Siverb Vestment shirt set bonuses, add physical damage taken reduced by 10% by the full bonus. So all sorts of changes for small time Runewords, Malabregas. We got 25% chance to cast Frost Nova, 2 items increased to level 8. So again, buffing all sorts of like low level sets. And this is one of the big changes. I was spoiled in my Discord on this change. I was given the deets. Okay, so this is a big thing. Good friend of the stream, Krams, already told us not to sleep on the set. And look at this amazing change for Tankreds. So Tancred set, for people who don't know, it's very weird, but it's very strong. 20% chance to cast level 12 charged bolt on attack increased to 33%. This is a 13% increase in casting a level 12 charged bolt. This is pretty massive for Tankreds. We got the Tankreds full set. The battle gear now gives 10 all resistances. Changed to 2 items. This used to take the full Tancred set. Now you only need 2 items to get it. 10 all res, slows target by 35%, slow bonus. Now you only need 4 items to run this, and this is quite an insane change for the tanker set. Honestly, I'm personally like amazed by this, and yeah, I'm really excited to see what people are gonna do with this set. Okay, I'm really excited. So you got Cathans getting more attack rating on free items. Cathans get increased attack speed removed. Okay, Cathans Traps added 40% attack speed for the full set bonus. Okay. Okay, they're shuffling things around here for the Cathans. And Natalia's Shadow added +1 to assassin skills free item bonus. Oh, okay, so you get the plus skills earlier. That's kind of cool. Natalia's Totem added plus 20 energy, 2 item bonus. Natalia's Odium, full set bonus. Added, you may now summon an additional shadow. So you can summon an additional shadow with Natalia's. That's kind of cool. And free assassin kills reduced to 2. This is to make up for the 1 assassin skill that you get earlier. This is not a nerf. This is overall a buff. Orphan's Call set bonus gives you 35 life, increased to 50. Nice Puzzler, they changed how Nice Puzzler work. Now the staff is plus 3 skills, and instead of getting plus 3 from the set, you only get 1. So you'll usually only use like the staff now over using the full set, but this is kind of like interesting change. We've got Huanyans getting all sorts of changes here to defense, lifesteal, so all sorts of changes here to the defense. This total is still 20%. Okay, so it's not changes, it's just being shuffled. Disciple set, they changed, like you get like plus mana, FHR. So again, a lot of shuffling around. We got Trang Owl set getting 30 FCR for the 4 item bonus removed. They added 30 FCR on 2 item bonus for Trangle's guys. Trangle's scales physical damage taken reduced by 25%, which was given by the full set, changed to 4-piece bonus, so that's pretty huge. Only needing 4 items to get this 25 PDR. So that's pretty big, in my opinion. And we got the vampire form, of course, that people have to explore with. We'll explore this vampire form as well. It gives 20% poison damage increase, 30% magic damage increase, 40% faster cast rate. You may apply an additional curse and 10 life after each kill. And these bonus likely to be changed. Yeah, it's being tested. Vampire form has slower cast frames, so they're showing the breakpoints and the frames for cast rate. They're much slower than the normal one. As far as I understand, they're twice as slow. So this will be interesting. You are getting some FCR with this set, so you're gonna start at around like here, like between 18 to 17%. So it will be interesting to see. Of course, you're getting actually 30 FCR also from the set, so you're actually starting at 16 frames. So this will be interesting. I'm interested to see how this plays out. And these are all the set changes. Now let's talk about the uniques. Carrion Wind added 20% faster run walks. A pretty nice change of life for Carrion Wind. Not a lot of people were using it. This might make it so people do use it. That's very interesting. A very zoomy ring now. A BK Deathband, 1% life leech increased. I don't think that's a big change for BK. Not most of what it's used for, but still okay change. Nature's Peace getting nerfed. Level 5 Oak Sage changed to level 2. Gonna see a lot less play for the Oak Sage. And Max Poison. Oh, the Max Resistance is also getting... they're not necessarily getting nerfed, but the variabilities are now less in our favor. So 1 to 3 instead of 2 to 3. So getting that perfect natures is gonna be a lot more difficult now. With Projectile level 5, Heart of Wolverine changed to level 2 as well. So big nerf to the non-druids using wisps and using Oak Sage for the spirits. If you want the spirit, you gotta play the druid. It is what it is. We got MF also nerfed by 5% on the top end. So this is a nerf to Wisp Projector. It was incredibly expensive and popular the last season. So another nerf. This is indirectly nerfs a lot of physical builds as well. So that will be interesting to see how it plays out. It's a shame that they nerfed the MF. I really like the MF on the Wisp Projector, but it is what it is. Got Lacerator, enhanced damage reduced to 180 to 240, so by 20% on both minimum and maximum. This is probably, again, to offset like the sockets. Remember, they're going to get sockets as well. Now, in addition, like you could have a slam and socket, so I think this is a fair change. Ray Flight, 10% curse resistance increased to 20%, so Ray Flight being buffed. Still unlikely to see anybody picking this up outside of like the first week. Sandstorm Track, stamina per level reduced, 4 max poison resist. That's an interesting little change. Boots with max poison resist is definitely an interesting thing for people who run Rathma. Reduced to faster run walk. And poison resist also reduced. That's interesting how they're playing around with it. Maybe they're trying to insert sandstorms as part of the Rathma options for people to run. Shadow Dancer, scarce resistance increased. Steel Rends, crushing blow increased by 10% both on minimum and maximum. And that's pretty big buff to Steel Rend. So I think that'll definitely be interesting to see. especially for mapping or on mercenaries. I think that would be pretty big. Rock Fleece, 10 to 20% damage reduced to 10 to 15. Okay, nerf to Rock Fleece. I wonder why that is. Also nerf to the flat damage. Maybe it was too strong early on, or for low level dueling. I don't even know if they used that kind of thing. Heavenly Garb, also known as Heavenly Garbage. Sanctuary equipped, increased to 4 to 6. So they did last season, they increased it from 1 to 2 to 4. They're increasing it again. They want people to use this. I think it will need a little bit more buffs in order to be used. But still, they're trying, and I appreciate that they are trying. Goldskin attacker damage increased from 10 to 40. So a little buff to Goldskin. Iron Pelt, increased chance of blocking, increased from 20 to 40%. So now it's a variable. Which is cute, I guess. Mostly used during like speed runs or something if you happen to drop it, not really used otherwise. Atma's Whale, 20 FHR increased to 30, so nice buff to Atma's. Maybe more Sorceress gonna use it now with the mana shield. Kahagan, 3 to 5 mana per each kill, increased to 6 to 9. Okay, they're trying to give Kahagan some power, a lot more mana per kill. This is a big buff. This is actually a pretty big buff. I'm very impressed with this. I think this might be enough to replace having Silk Weaves, right? Because this is like a minimum buff of +3. But actually, this is a pretty huge thing. This is like 6 to 9. If you're running this with 9, this is 4 more. Effectively having like a Silk Weave and a Kahagan on just a Kahagan in terms of the mana per kill. I think this is a pretty big change. Let me know what you think about this one. I know that a lot of people hated on the Kahagan nerf from 2 skills to 1 skill. So this might make it come back for some builds. G-Bane FHR increased to 40%. Okay, G-Bane, I mean, was already stupidly strong, and they're buffing G-Bane. I'm okay with that. Valkyrie Wing added +2 to Valkyrie Amazon only. We got Harlequin Crest, physical damage reduction increased from 3 to 5 to 4 to 6. Just small buff to Shaco. We got Zeria's Resolve, level 25 to 30, Holy Shock Aura removed, added joust cooldown reduced by 1.5, so it's going to be much faster jousting. This is, I think, going to be used for mapping on the fend and jabs on. I think this is definitely interesting, something we are looking to kind of test around. +2 to passive increased to +3. Joust increased from +2 to 6 to 8. We got 20 energy removed, lightning resist increased, and magic damage from a variable just changed to 14, reduced magic damage. So overall, big buff to Zeria's. Very interesting item looking to be in the next season. We'll test this on the Amazon Day. We got Titan's Revenge, Javelin Spheres reduced to 1 to 2. Okay, so now it's a variable, and Amazon Skills increased to 2. So the Amazon Skills are static. That's generally better for Titan's Revenge. Shoot with Temper to -5 to 10, reduced to -5, so no longer a variable, can no longer be -10 to resistances. This is a nerf to lightning and fire sorts, especially early on. Generally, that's not the end game for lightning or fire. They have other items they'd prefer using, but it's a change. It is a change. We got Death Fathom, faster cast rate reduced to 20%. Okay, a nerf to Cold Sork as well on the Death Fathom. That's interesting. We got Skull Collector, 2% chance to cast level 25 bone armor increased to 3%. So Skull Collector buff, that's pretty cool. Baritza was one of the most popular uniques last season. 100% chance to pierce reduced to 20%. They are definitely hitting this one big time. 200% ED reduced to, okay, so they reduced the top end by 25% and the IS by 20. This is a huge nerf in my opinion to Baritza. Wow, I don't know. Let me know how you think about this, Amazon players. I mean, I know it wasn't the end game option for most people they would craft, but still this is pretty big. So yeah, definitely a big change here. We got Hellrack -10 to enemy fire resistance increased to -20. So Hellrack fire druid maybe coming back, who knows. Maybe this can be used early on for Fire Amazon as well. We'll see. We got 4 to 6. The fire skills reduced to 4 to 5. So we're reducing the skills by 1, but adding -10 Fire Pierce. I know this is better for Fire Claw. I wonder how it is for Fire Amazon. We got Backleech Blade, increased chance to 25% to cast a Weaken. Stormspire added 1 2 oh, they increased the lightning damage Stormspire does, so Stormspire buff. Attacker takes lightning damage also increased, and plus 30 strength instead of 10, so big buff to Stormspire. Was already a good weapon, so that's pretty nice to see. We got Kelpie Snare, slow target increased to 50% for 25, Spire of Honor 25% to 75, enhanced defense. Viper Fork, 9% chance to cast level 32, Desecrate increased to 12%, so a lot more common now. 10 to 20% poison skill removed. Okay, oh, but they're adding Pierce. So this is definitely a buff for Viper Fork. I wonder if early Viper Fork on Rabies Druid is going to be an option now instead of Blake Bearer. I think the Poison Pierce is pretty huge for Rabies. I wonder if other builds are going to use this. I don't think so, but I genuinely don't know of other builds who would want to use this. But for Rabies Druid, this is definitely a nice change. Steel Pillar, 25% chance of Crushing Blow increased to 40. That's a lot of Crushing Blow in Steel Pillar. And Enhanced Defense increased from 100 to 150, so just like another nice change on it. Nice buff to Steel Pillar, already was a solid weapon. Gargoyle's Bite, enhanced damage increased from 250 to 330. Sorry, from 180 to 250. So the top end is the same, but the lower end, the variable is lower. This is mainly a poison item though. And enemy poison resistance reduced to minus. Okay, so they did reduce the poison pierce on it, but now you can get sockets on it. So generally it was buffed. It's just the base was weakened. We got Shadowblade, chance to cast level 28 Ice Barrage increased to 16%, and the chance to cast Ice Blast increased to 22%. Shadowblade still, I don't think will be used, but we'll see. Maybe some Blades of Ice or something gonna want to use it. Flesh Ripper to the free, Claw Dagger Master increased to 4 to 5. Okay. Jin Slayer, 1/2. Okay, these are like pretty small item changes. Like they're adjusting damage to demons, more sockets on the Jin Slayer. Could be nice, of course, but not huge. We got Blood Moon, level 15 Blood Golems, changed to plus 12 to Blood Golem the skill. Okay, so that is interesting for sure. That is interesting for sure. On Blood Moon, Azurath, 80% chance to cast level 25 Holy Light increased to level 30. Okay, so a little buff to Azurath, not a very important one, I think. Earth Shifter, 8% chance to cast level 25 Volcano. On kill increased to 10%, so a nice buff for Fireclaw mapping. Earth Shifter is one of the better Fireclaw mapping options, in my opinion. That this will definitely improve it, going to 10%, or at least I think it will improve it. So worth maybe looking into. Messerschmitt Reaver, open wounds damage per second increased, so they're adding a lot more open wounds damage on Messer. Chance of open wounds increased also by 35%, so this is pretty big buff. With Go Riders, you can bring it up to a pretty high percentage. This is pretty cool. I like this general change. For Messer, it's a nice buff. Windforce getting love. Increased attack speed from 20 to 40, and increased damage from 250, 325 to 25 at each end, and 10 more strength. I love seeing love to Windforce. It was one of my favorite items back in, like, 20 years ago when I was a kid. So I love seeing it getting loved. I hate that it's not getting used at all. Ursa's Nightmare, you cannot life steal above 60%. Maximum life increased to 75. It's a buff. It is a buff. 1% increased splash radius. So this will be this is geared towards mapping with melee shifters for the most part, especially Maulbear. We will see if this makes mapping with Maulbear a little bit more bearable. Pun definitely intended in this case. And they increased the variables for maximum life from 25 to 30. Nice overall change. I'm liking this. I think this is nice. It was already a solid helm to use for mapping on Bear, but we'll see if this makes it even better. Eaglehorn, your Ravens deal an additional 500 cold damage, increased to 1250. This is pretty cool for Eaglehorn. Cyclopean Roar added 20% crushing blow. That's interesting. Definitely good for Mercs, but also good for our Leapers, I believe. I'm pretty sure it applies crushing blow, so it's pretty good for Leapers, Cyclopean. So nice buff to them. Raker's Virtue, plus 4 to light radius removed, added 40 to 60 enhanced damage. 3 to 4 Frenzy, great change for Rakers, for the throwers, especially 2 to 3 the double throw, 3 to 4 double swing reduced to 2 to 3, and 20% curse resistance increased to 25. Overall, great changes for Rakers. I think it now can start seeing used on the throw barbs. Halberds Rain, 4.5 attack rating per level reduced to 3. I think that's okay. Veil of Steel, enhanced damage increased from 40 to 80 by 20% at each end, so that's like a nice little buff. Mostly used by, I think, Amazons, but used by also a lot of Barbarians, a lot of other builds. So definitely cool to see. We got Veil of Steel. Also, all resistances variables are a little bit more consistent now for the better. Black Oak Shield, Cold Absorb per character removed. Okay, interesting. Added 6 to 10 max cold resist. That's very interesting. Maybe used for Rathma now more often. I think it was already used in the past for Rathma. But I wonder how does that work, because now you're going to have a lot more cold resist than you want, I believe. This is a pretty strange change, in my opinion. I'm not sure I'm liking it. Minus 10 to minus 15 enemy cold resistance changed to up to minus 20 cold pierce. This is definitely a buff to Black Oak, I think, in this sense for cold builds. But we'll see how it plays out. This definitely has to be tested. Spikeform, physical damage taken reduced from 10 to 20 up to 15 to 25. So Spikeform becoming a viable PDR shield, definitely. Especially for early declones. We got Dark Forest Spawn, increased maximum mana by 10 to 20%, increased to 40 to 50. And added PNB skillers for Necro. Okay, interesting. So it gives PNB skillers as well. It's not it gives all skills, but they're all variables. So it's very interesting for DFS. I wonder if it's a big deal. It's mostly going to buff bone armor, from what I know about Dark First Spawn. So I don't think it's huge, but we'll see. Herald of Zac, we got strength reduced, vitality reduced by 5 at each end, and also all res reduced by 10. Hawes is a very strong shield. What can I say? 50 old res is big. It gives 40 now. I think that's still big, and I think it'll be fine. Service Bite increased the minimum end for the shifting skills to 3. That's nice. It has so many variables with the attack rating as well. It's nice that it's like more consistent. Executioner's Justice plus 3 to all skills. What? Okay, this is a very big jaw drop for me. And it's plus 3 to all skills and 10 IAS. It's pretty huge for melee shifters. I don't know if it's huge for anybody else, but this is a pretty big change. We got Dracula's Grasp, remove 10 IAS. Yes, Dracula's was incredibly strong last season, and they're doing their best to kind of mitigate that. I don't think this is enough to kill the item. The item is so strong because of the life after each kill and the leech. But Dracula's Grasp losing the 10 IAS, no more 20 IAS Drax as well. Nightwing Veil reduced the cold skill damage. Okay, so they're reducing the cold skill damage, at least not the pierce. Hellslayer, 30% chance to cast level 30 Fireball increased to 33% chance to cast level 45 Fireball. This is an awesome change for Hellslayer. Even more damage on the Hellslayer. I love Hellslayer. Awesome weapon. Take that, Cramps. I love to see it. Death Cleaver, 5% max deadly strike up to 10. Okay, interesting. Stone Crusher, minus 5 to minus 10 enemy physical resistance, increased to minus 10 to minus 15. Okay, maybe Stone Crusher seeing a little bit of love. It is a pretty useless item at the moment. I don't know if this is enough for it to see any play, but we will have to test and see. Also, enhanced damage increased by 10 and 20% respectively. Overlord's Helm, this is the Declone Helm. Minus 10 to enemy physical resistance increased to minus 15. Okay, that's pretty cool. Minus 30 curse resistance reduced to minus 20, so that's good. And minus 30 energy removed, so this is an overall big buff for Overlords. Definitely interested to see how this plays out. We got Dark Abyss, fire resistance is just going to be a static 60, and cold resistance is going to be a static minus 30. Overall buff to Dark Abyss. I still think like this item needs a little bit more love for it to see actual play outside of flexing. Odium, more cold damage, added minus the 30. Ooh, added cold pierce to Odium. That is very interesting. I wonder how that is going to play out. And we got 35 increased to 65. So overall buffs to Odium. That's nice. Just giving it a little bit of love. Third Eye, energy increased from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. That's interesting for bone armor users. 10% chance to cast level 25 Bone Nova increased to 12. So that's pretty nice. I like this change overall, so I think that's cool. Widowmaker added plus 2 to Amazon skills. Okay, maybe Widowmaker will see use. Spell Seal, faster cast rate increased to 50. That's cute. Demon's Horn Edge, Oh, they made it so instead of having 2 to 3 to all of the skill trees, you'll just have 2 to 3 barbarian skills, lowering the variabilities, and added 20 IAS. Very cool change for demon horns. Very strong helm already, very good for throw barbs. So adding 20 IAS is definitely nice on it. I think this is going to be the main use for throw barbs with bleed. Because it has a bunch of bleed damage on it. Brave Skin, -10 to max life, reduced to -5. Okay, they're trying to buff this item. And enhanced damage increased to 130. Okay, I'm liking this change. This is like an interesting, better rattle cage on many classes, I think, now. But I don't know how much it is still going to be used. Stalker's Call, +2 to Assassin, replaced with 3 to 4 to Shadow Disciplines. Okay, Stalker's Call is getting nerfed a little bit. And Tiger Strike, I think it's getting nerfed. I actually don't know if it is getting nerfed. That looks like a nerf to me. Right, because I think a lot of martial arts builds use this as well. And trap builds use this as well. So, yeah, interesting change. Changing to Shadow Disciplines. T-Stroke, +2 to 4 Javelin and Spear skills, reduced to 2 to 3. So, nerf to T-Stroke, Lightning, Amazon. -15 to enemy lightning resistance, reduced to -10. Ooh, so it was nerfed quite a bit. I think this is to offset like the sockets being added to it. That's my assumption. So I wonder if this is an overall buff or nerf. This seems like an overall nerf to me, but maybe I'm incorrect. So people can let me know what this actually is. We got Mage Wrath, +3 to 4, Magic Arrow reduced, and Guide Arrow is just increased to +4. So interesting, change to an item nobody uses. 250 AR instead of it being a variable. Even Bane got a pretty big change, I think. I don't know if it's enough to make it useful, but target slows, 25 removed. Added, you may apply an additional curse. They upgraded the weaken on striking from weaken on struck, which is a good thing. You don't want to be struck when you're running a bow. So that's definitely a good thing. Increased IAS, +5 to magic arrow, reduced to 4 to 5, so it's a variable now. They enhanced the damage as well by 25 and 60 at the top end, so it's quite a big ED buff. And faster run walk increased to 30. So overall, these seem like nice changes. I don't know if it's enough. Amazon players can let me know. Fire Lizards, another item that got a pretty big change. From what I heard. So the martial arts skills removed. It got from 2 to 3 fire skills, 3 to 4 fire skills, so even more fire skills. Added more fire pierce. This is not going to be used for fire traps though, because this doesn't affect fire traps. I think this is mostly for Dragon Tail, I want to say. So it's interesting that they removed the martial arts skill. Let me know if I'm missing something about this. This is what I understand from this. A 25 chance to cast level 40 Blaze on block, so this will be nice for movement as well. And at a 200 to 270 enhanced damage increased to 230 to 270, so only the minimum end was increased. Leoric's Mithril Bane, Paladin Sword, skills increased from +2 to +3 to 4, so that's a pretty nice change. And you got Life Stolen increased as well. You got enhanced damage increased by 20% on both ends. So overall, just like small changes to Leorix. Might be strong enough to be like a solid charge weapon now for them. I don't think it's going to be used for anything else. But yeah, we will see. A new item, Constricting Loop. I love this addition to the game. Whoever knows what's the origin for this, like I know, but like we're not gonna babble on this now. But really cool ring. Potential for a 30 FCR ring is definitely something that everybody should look into in terms of making different builds viable in different ways and different items. So I think this is a really cool item. I'm really loving this. I don't know yet who I want to use this on the most. I have like a few ideas in mind, but I'm gonna keep them to myself till we actually test them. Let me know who you think this fits as a ring, yeah, let's just keep going on. I'm really loving the life after each kill as well and the strength on it. And a new item, Scorn, a little bit of a funny meme item for Enchant Orc. We have the Whispering Mirage. This is the Summon Assassin clause. I was told by a certain Assassin player that this will never work, but I'm still interested in testing it. I think this will be cool. We got the new shield for Paladin that looks absolutely amazing. I'm loving this art. This is majestic levels of art, and it is, yeah, the Sky Warden. The new Alpha Helm Fenris for the Druid. Again, I was asked by a bunch of people if this is going to be used for mapping. I don't think this will be particularly good for mapping. I don't think so, but I think the minus the physical resistance, 2 skills, and all the dexterity may be used on some melee shifters. I think this might be solid. It gives 2 to a Wolverine as well. So again, I think this might be used for melee shifters. Maybe I'm wrong. So let me know what you guys tested and what you guys found out. We got the wild speaker, +2 to Barbarian, bunch of grim word points, shout, vitality. So this is like an early leveling, you know, type of helm. I don't think it's going to see a lot of use outside of that, but it does give 20 FCR, which is pretty cool for early casters who before only kind of relied on Cyclopean. So that's pretty nice. Added a new unique hurl bat. So I didn't see this before. It's called Aquila's Strike. That's interesting, and it rolls to the free sockets naturally, so that's pretty cool. So our first sockets on a throwable weapon. That's pretty cool. +3 to combat skills, or 2 to 3 to combat skills. Flat fire and flat 40 to 80 damage. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. 2 to berserk, 2 to frenzy. Slows target. Wow, these are amazing stats. I'm really liking this throwable weapon. So that's really cool. Require level 51. I wonder how early you can drop this. I need to look into that. This is a very strong throwable weapon, so I'm really liking this Achilles Strike. Added new unique Colossus Girdle, Sigurd Staunch. What is this? 20 chance of crushing blow on a belt, 6 to iron skin. And these are hard points. I believe this will give you. Will this give you PDR as well? Or only the defense? I wonder. I'm not sure. Increased max life. This is an insane belt. And look at this final line. Repairs durability, meaning it can be used as an ethereal belt. So whenever I see an ethereal belt that fixes itself, I'm thinking, okay, this is a purgatory type of build. Very interesting. So Purga throwers, Purga sins will probably love this with the crushing blow as well on the belt. I think this is pretty cool for him. So I'm liking this belt a lot. And the new unique Hellspawn Skull, Sacred Totem, Rakonishu's Head is upon us. You'll be lightning enchanted with Holy Bolt, +2 to Necro, +3 to low res, +3 to amp, and you get like your extra revives as well. So you may summon 4 additional revives, 45 lightning res, and a chance to reanimate Shaman and reanimate as Fallen. For the most part, you're going to use this for the extra revives. We will test this to see how good it is. The fact that it gives you points into lower resist means you get access to lower res without actually having to skill it, so maybe that's a good thing. You can use it from level 64. I think it's going to be an interesting item. I don't think it's going to be particularly strong, but we'll see. And finally, for runes and rune words, it's only been an hour 20. Wow, this has been a long video. I'm not getting hit with the allegations. I'm just reading along, guys, okay? Runes and rune words, shields plus for on Neph runes. There's a bunch of like rune changes, I guess. +30 to defense for missiles. I don't think it's like a big change. Attacker takes damage increased on Am rune. Dull rune, more replenished life. Soul rune, a little bit more physical damage reduced on shield. Pull rune, a more enhanced defense. We got Mal rune, magic damage reduced by 7, increased to 9. Ghoul on weapons, bonus to attack rating increased by 30%. That's a pretty nice increase. Sur rune, increased mana and shields. I don't think that's a big change. Following rune words have been added to throwable weapons. So we got Steel, Malice, Sapphire, Strength, King's Grace, Lawbringer, Crescent Moon, Venom, Fury, Plague, and Wind. This will definitely improve early on Thrower Barb and might make a viable leveling option. I'll have to test that and see. No wind, and a throwing weapon has 220 to 280 enhanced damage compared to 320. This is probably because you can make it in an ethereal weapon and it's not going to break, so I think that's probably to offset that. But Crescent Moon can now be made in scepters. Voice of Reason can also be made in scepters. Last Wish increased Might Aura to level 19, and enhanced damage increased by 20% to 25%, so that's pretty nice. Mist, level 8 to 12 concentration, increased to 12 to 14. Okay, that's pretty nice for Mist. Hand of Justice, level 12, Fire Aura increased to level 14. I really like this change for the fire, like, you know, the Dragon Pally. I don't know if people ever played that. Zenith increased elemental damage rolls by 20%, from 375 to 360, 420. So that's 420 all day. Let's go, Zenith. Already a strong rune word. Faith, enhanced damage increased as well, so that's nice for Faith. Rift, 20% chance to cast level 30 Tornado on striking, increased to 26%. I don't think many people use Rift anyway. But maybe this will make people want to try. Passion, +1 to concentrate skill, increased to +10. And +1 to zeal, increased to +10. Chains of Honor, 100% damage to undead, increased to 200. Chains of Honor seeing a nice buff here. I think that's really interesting. Chains of Honor definitely not seeing as much use as it should. Dream, Holy Shock, increased from level 13 to 14. Not a huge change for Dream, but you are using 2 of them, so that is a 2 levels increase. Principle, 50% chance to cast Holy Bolt, increases 75, so you're going to cast a lot more of them. Flat life increased, and damage to demons and undead increased as well by quite a bit. So Principle looking a little bit better. Dragon added 4 to 5 to Hydra, Sorceress only. Okay, Dragon. Dragon for the Sorceress Hydra. Maybe that's a thing that's going to happen, like Fire Aura Sorceress with Hydras. Interesting. I'm very interested in this. Fix the bug that caused the Hydra to spawn from Dragon to quickly disappear. 230 defense versus missiles removed. Increased defense in general. 12% chance to cast level 28 Hydra, increased to level 40. Okay, that's interesting. I'm interested in seeing how this plays out. We got Edge reduced all vendor prices 15% removed. What? They removed Edge. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, everybody take a moment. Rest in peace, Edge, Runeward. I love you so much, and I'm so glad I have you on my SSF account. Memory +3 to sorcerer skills changed to +4. Okay, memory being buffed. That's interesting. +3 to energy shield, sorcerer reduced to +2 because the energy shield gonna stay the same. All skills gonna get a bump. 20 to 40 increased max mana, increased to 25. Okay, insight can no longer be made in scepters. Okay, so no more act 3 insight mark. Also interesting change. Enhanced damage increased. Added new rune word loyalty. We got free sockets, bow or spear pull to your dull bow version. This is the passive and magic rune word that we went over. Buffs to passives on, it seems like. The bow is on seem the thing you want to use. It gives plus the strafe as well, which is how you're leveling with the decoys on. This is the spear version that maybe is going to see use with the fend leveling, maybe, who knows. It's pretty cheap to make. We have added a new rune word called Epiphany. I personally didn't know what people want to be doing with this as energy shield equipped. People said that this might be used alongside Tempest. I see a hard time seeing this. People putting like 2 lows and an ist into this for whatever this does. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I personally just don't see it happening. Crafting rerolling, a rare item now costs 3 perfect skulls instead of 6. Huge change for the skull users. Bountiful craft instead of 50 to 80 enhanced damage removed, added +1 to all skills. We have Vampiric belt. Damage taken gained as mana, replaced with 10 to 20 poison length reduction. Let's go. I'm so happy with this change. This is a huge change. Big win for Rathma enjoyers. Vampiric body requirement replaced with 10 to 30 poison resist, so this means you can run 105 PLR armors now. Vampiric shield requirements replaced with 20 to 30% poison length as well, so you can run 105 PLR shields as well. So you can run basically like shield plus amulet, and you have all the PLR that you could ever want for. And we have Vampiric Amulet, 5 to 10 curse duration reduction, increased to 10 to 20. So, okay, interesting change to Vampiric Amulet. I don't think that's going to see use. I think the changes to shield are insane, and I think the changes to belt are good. I think the changes to armor are probably not enough for people to use this. There are way better armors to craft normally, or to use that are just like uniques, but I'm loving the change to belt. I think the change to shield might be a little bit too much, because shields are already really good in this slot. So yeah, these are all the changes. This is it. Okay, it's only been an hour and 20 minutes. My throat is incredibly dry. I hope everybody got like some information from this. There's been pretty huge changes, and I'm gonna take 1 day for each character, as I said, to go over them directly, see how they're affected by the different changes. We're going to test different builds. If you have things you want me to test in the future, things that you think I should look into, make sure to drop them in the comments. We've been compiling like a list of things that I should look into, and yeah, make sure that whatever you got is going to make it into there. With that said, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's been a joy to go over these notes. I'm super excited for season 11. Let me know what you're most excited for in this like upcoming season. What build you're going to play now you finally have the notes. I'm going to start thinking what I'm going to play, and hopefully we'll all have an amazing season. With that said, have a good whatever you're having. I'll see you in the next stream or in the next video, and bye.